You've heard of Elf Brawl, now get ready for Elf Brawl! Today's deck tech looks to push a different elf angle using Tyvar the Pummeler to get our creatures into the gym for maximum gains.
What we do here isn't just exercise, Josh. It's a church where we max out greatness.
Tyvar the Pummeler is a 3-mana, 1 generic, 2 green, 3/3 legendary creature elf warrior that says, tap another untapped creature you control. Tyvar the Pummeler gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. And pay 5 mana, 3 generic and 2 green. Creatures you control get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. This commander has built-in protection because as you play creatures, you're essentially banking indestructible spells. And it also gives you the finisher on the card. So we will be leaning into that ability, pumping one creature up to pump the rest. Then, if we can make some kind of mana ball, the team goes crazy with power. If you're one of those players that loves seeing how big you can make your creatures, then this is the deck for you. Since Tyvar comes down early, we do have a couple turns of setup. We look to really start turning on the gas around turn 5 or 6, but don't let that fool you. Once the groundwork has been laid, the deck quickly gets out of control. We even have a cheeky way to take out players without even attacking them. But I'll cover that later. So for now, let's cover the creatures. Starting with the mana dorks. Llanowar Elves. Devoted Druid is an infinite engine, as long as you can power up a team to above 5. Keep in mind though, this is a 1-turn infinite engine, because Devoted Druid puts -1/-1 counters on it, so even though you're boosting its power, at the end of the turn when the power goes away, Devoted Druid will die. So make sure that you're either going to win or be in the best, most commanding position you can be. Priest of Titania, Elvish Archdruid, Elvish Harbinger has the added benefit of finding us another elf, Greenweaver Druid, Llanowar Tribe, Viridian Joiner, Canopy Tactician, Tanuki Transplanter. While not tapping for mana, this raccoon can make a buttload of mana, and Cradle Clearcutter. Now let's cover the rest, going over some of the creatures in particular that make the deck work.
Copperhorn Scout.
Elvish Vanguard grows as we play elves, so this card can get sneakily big, which Tyvar can then turn into a boost for the entire team. Elvish Warmaster makes more elves as elves enter, once per turn, so this helps with the cards that care about the number of elves you have. Reckless Amplimancer can double their power and toughness for 5 mana, which is pretty easy to make. Silhana Ledgewalker gets in most of the time completely unblocked, and when you're boosting the team, this means she can hit your opponents like Truckcoon. No isekai. Turvagon has Trample, which is an added bonus that almost always guarantees damage gets through. It also has some extra synergy with our Secret Wing condition. It also makes a buttload of bugs, so it really helps out in the go wide strategy. Wirewood Hivemaster makes bugs as you play elves, and this helps go wide again. Boosting as many creatures with Tyvar's ability as possible is a great way to guarantee that damage is seeping in through the cracks. Elvish Branchbender animates a forest with power and toughness equal to the number of forests you control. Again, Tyvar does not care from which the power flows, only that it flows. Imperious Perfect boosts elves and makes elves. Timberwatch Elf gives a temporary boost to a creature equal to the number of elves you control. Wild Beastmaster helps beef the team even more by giving out its own power and toughness to all creatures. Brawn, when it's in your graveyard, gives your whole team trample. Centaur Omen Reader is such an underrated powerhouse in this deck. You can essentially turbo out more creatures, and you can tap Omen Reader immediately with Tyvar's ability, guaranteeing that you'll get that creature discount. Experiment 12 can flip into something absolutely massive, depending on how many times you activate Tyvar before the reveal. Immaculate Magistrate grows 1 elf for each elf you control, which helps Tyvar grow the team. Ivy Lane Denizen for more counters. Lissalana Huntsmaster spits out elves each time you cast an elf. Mirkwood Channeler gives a boost during combat, which works great because again, boosting with Tyvar's ability helps boost the squad. Not only that, you can activate Tyvar's ability at instant speed. Ulvenwald Oddity has Trample, so we're good there, but the real benefit is when you flip the Oddity into the Behemoth, giving haste and trample to the team. Cultivator of Blades helps get an even bigger army. Nyleus Forerunner for trample. Conclave Sledge Captain has backup. This means that with an activation of Tyvar or 2 or 3, suddenly these temporary buffs become permanent. Primordial Sage for card draw. Roughshod Mentor and Thunderfoot Baloth, just more ways to give our creatures trample. Our sorceries seem like a bit of a mixed bag, but once I explain everything, which I'll have to do after the instance, it will all make sense. Prey Upon is removal. We're in green, so removal is fighting. Wildest Dreams can get us our entire graveyard back with enough mana. Exponential Growth helps boost one creature for better boost for the rest of the team. Rampant Growth, Regrowth, Dryad's Revival, and Recollect all get us back cards from our graveyard. Harmonize is card draw. Hunter's Prowess is another form of card draw. Primal Command gets us a creature most of the time, but it is modal, so we have options. Soul's Might is a great setup for another turn, after having a huge boost with Tyvar. Storm the Citadel helps get rid of a bunch of artifacts and enchantments. Collective Unconsciousness is card draw, as is Mouth/Feed. Remember, we can even turn 1/1s into 4/4s with one Tyvar activation, so you can draw a bunch of cards. Lastly, Storm the Festival gets 2 permanents onto the battlefield, up to 5 CMC from the top 5 cards, helping us not only dig into the deck, but also drop threats. In response, let's go to our instance. Finally, we get to see the secret win con of the deck, Ram Through. This card is the main reason we play so many things to get stuff back from the graveyard. Once we generate infinite mana and activate Tyvar as much as we want, Tyvar will be infinitely big. As long as we have one creature with trample, we can reach pretty much any player we want and take them out. Then, if we have other cards to get it back from the graveyard, we could essentially do this, in theory, 3 times and just take people out without ever having to lift a finger. Return to Nature for removal. Choose Your Weapon doubles power and toughness for bigger gains.
No agony, no braggony. Am I right?
But you can also use it in niche situations to take out a pesky flyer if it's causing you harm. Hunter's Insight is a great instant way to draw cards. And lastly, once in future, to again get rammed through or anything we need back. We only have 3 artifacts. Saw gives a small boost, but the main reason we play it is for the card draw. Loxodon Warhammer gives us trample, which is important for ram through, but it also gives us lifelink for a bit of life gain. Scepter of Celebration, again a small boost in trample, but it also makes us an instant board once we get in for damage. For enchantments, we play 2. Hardy Outlander is a perfect card for Tyvar. He can be indestructible, so you can always swing at the player with the most life, then take Tyvar's power and add it to one of your mana dorks who produce mana based on power, or add it to some token generator to help them hit harder. You can do this pre-boost or post-boost depending on how much mana or damage you're looking to get out of the situation. And Garruk's Uprising. This again gives all of our creatures trample, so it helps with ram through, and a little bit of card draw here and there. Lands, it's pretty basic. 37 Forest. That's it. That's the deck. The deck clocks in right now at $20, not including the commander, because Tyvar is almost $5, and elves for some reason hold value like crazy. But with just a small bump in budget, you break this deck wide open. Let's talk upgrades. The main focus of our upgrades are card draw, Rishkar's Expertise, Disciple of Freyalise, Return of the Wild Speaker, and Greater Good. These cards basically explode the deck with how much you can boost your creatures and then use them to base the power and toughness off of these cards and draw that many. You're going to draw a ridiculous amount of cards. Slicing into cards to cut: Wildest Dreams, Recollect, Exponential Growth, and Saw. These cards are good in our budget, but in the presence of such great card draw, they pale in comparison. So I would cut them. Well, that's the deck with some upgrades and cards to cut. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as it goes a long way to supporting the channel, and I appreciate it greatly. Comment a commander you would like to see built on a budget, or your favorite card from Duskmourn. Remember, all this month we are covering Duskmourn commanders. I will be uploading a video every week on one of the legendary creatures from the Spooktacular set. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.